Jason Miller, who's quit being Trump's spokesperson to go work at a tech firm, which is supposedly the lead in to Trump buying or more than likely licensing himself to one of the tech firms in exchange for naming it after him. I mean, it's basically the same methodology they do it. Thank you, Joe Carter, for reminding everybody. Sports Joe. Yes, we're now on YouTube, so you can super chat if you want and support us. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So Jason Miller quit to go work on this company, and then the idea is that they're going to announce something whenever, probably at the next Mike Lindell gathering, which we will cover, by the way. Yeah. They'll replace. So, by the way, hold on. Here we go.
That was President Biden speaking about his upcoming meeting with Vladimir Putin. And ahead of the Biden-Putin summit, lots of people making comments on it, including former President Donald Trump. And the winner of the Whose Fucking Side Are You On award. Former President Donald Trump, who issued this statement here. He said, good luck to Biden dealing with President Putin. Don't fall asleep during the meeting, and please give him my warmest regards, end quote. Joining us now to discuss, Jason Miller, senior advisor.
Which, by the way, I think he meant don't fall asleep because he almost did repeatedly, because whenever anyone speaks in a foreign language, it makes him dizzy and drowsy because it takes too much work to process in his brain, and there just isn't enough Ritalin in the world.
Senior advisor to the 45th president, joining us live. Jason, thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's nice to be here on a scaffold across from the White House, dreaming my dreamy dreams of the day I used to be there.
What do you expect from President Biden meeting with President Putin?
Well, this is very concerning. It's exactly as President Trump predicted, that Joe Biden would embarrass us on the world stage. And that's exactly what we've seen so far, whether it be Joe Biden standing there.
Is it? That's what it is? So meeting with Putin is just the embarrassing part? Just setting up the meeting is him being embarrassing. Thank you, Al Powers. So when Trump kept cradling Putin's balls, that wasn't embarrassing to you guys? Okay, well, at least we know what the standard is.
Zoning out for 25 seconds, whether it be the other leaders of the G7 walking away and leaving him in the dust. I mean, there are some real concerns about how with it Joe Biden is here. And at a time when we should be pushing against the real threats that are facing not just the U.S., but other democratic allies around the world, the rise of a potentially nuclear Iran, the chaos that Iran is causing with Israel, the fact that China is becoming more and more aggressive, not just in the South China Sea, but in taking over technology all over the world. This administration is worried about climate change.
Well, and for the record, they're addressing multiple things at the G7. And did Trump ever speak in a protective nature about Taiwan? Was there ever a moment where he didn't give anything to China but a wink and a nod that they could take it if they wanted it? Was there ever? No? All right.
Change and the Green New Deal, and it really shows their priorities are out of whack.
He didn't bring up the Green New Deal. All these nations are dealing with climate change. These are multilateral talks against multiple countries with lots of different varying experiences with climate change. That's one of the primary aspects of it. That's not all they're talking about. There's dozens upon dozens of meetings going on about dozens of topics, but I understand how you need to latch onto that because your boss is stuck at an omelet bar with his thumb in the mayonnaise jar.
We've also heard from Ukrainian leader Zelensky warning Americans that a war with Russia could, quote, be tomorrow in their houses. What's your reaction to that warning?
Yeah, that's why NATO issued their reaffirmation, by the way, of their support for Ukraine and that they're expanding their support for Ukraine. Something that was the only thing that was scrubbed from the RNC platform by Manafort and Donald Trump.
This is a great point. We saw during the Obama administration, where Joe Biden was the VP, that Russia went in and took over Crimea, that they completely disrespected the Obama administration, that they weren't concerned at all that Obama or Biden would push back on them. And here's the thing to keep in mind about Russia. Russia, a lot of folks don't realize this, their economy is only about the size of New York State.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while. Yeah.
But they're troublemaking. They're the biggest superpower in the world when it comes to troublemaking. And so they
Oh, yeah, I know. They messed with our elections and helped put Donald Trump in the White House. It was their single biggest, cheapest win in history.
Do this to keep themselves relevant. And yeah, I think that there's going to be testing of the Biden administration by Russia. But you know what? Let's not forget
they didn't have to test Trump because they knew he was on the rope. They had him on a leash. So what testing do you need? As a matter of fact, the goal is let him inflate during his first term and then snatch the leash in the second term. Their problem was they had to deal with the reality that he was unelectable as a known entity.
Forget about China, and I wouldn't be surprised to see China make a move on Taiwan, knowing that Joe Biden is too weak and feeble to do anything about it.
Yeah, you definitely.
I'm sorry, does he have to go over themselves? I thought we had the strongest military in the world, and Trump had built up our military to bigger numbers and larger ships, and we have everything that we could ever need, and we built this whole thing, and all we have to do is push a button and it happens.
Definitely mentioned concerns about China. In the meantime, though, of course, the president answering some questions from the press about Putin. In the meantime, looking ahead to that Russian meeting, here's what he was asked at NATO yesterday. Take a look.
In a weekend interview, Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer?
Well, look, I mean, he has made clear that
By the way, this is the edit. They took out the first part of the answer. Guys, Newsmax, you can't slice up the section and only show the part where somebody's thinking about something as if they didn't have an answer.
the answer is, I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do.
The president there taking a pause to gather his thoughts there. I see you shaking your...
Yeah, trying to reshape how he's going to talk about it ahead of a summit. You don't walk into a summit going, yeah, the guy's a killer. Yeah, like, why would you even have a summit then if you're just going to call him a killer outright the day before? And by the way, as president now versus as vice president or as a senator or a congressperson.
In your head, though.
I think taking a pause to collect his thoughts is probably about the most polite way that you could phrase it. In fact, the White House would be smart to go and try to sign you up to give them talking points on how to answer this. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Joe Biden, his brain is short-circuiting here. He's just not up to the task. I mean, this.
By the way, in case you don't know that Jason Miller got a stripper pregnant and then slipped her the morning after pill in an attempt to cause her to have an abortion. Just so you morally and ethically base what you're hearing come out of his mouth on that. I mean, think what it would take for you, even if you were the most pro-abortion person in the world, like you were like, I think most of this world's overpopulated. We need to get rid of as many, babies before they're born as fast as possible. Like, you were nuts about it, and then go through the process of willingly slipping someone the abortion pill in their drink without them knowing about it. Like, imagine you carrying it around all day, trying to figure out a way to gesture so they look over here so you could slip it in their drink. Run through the whole scenario in your head, what it would take for you to be that kind of person. You know what I mean? Like, that's who this dude is. Yeah.
And this is very clear. Keep in mind, Joe Biden, his whole value proposition as a candidate over the years has been that he's this foreign policy expert.
By the way, this is the footage that they're using where he's talking to people, and there's some people sitting over here, and he's chatting with them. They yell out to him or whatever, and then Joe comes to get him because they want to go talk to another group of people as he was walking across this thing. They cut out the conversation he had there. They cut out the audio from the person he's talking to right over here, and then they act like this was like he was wandering around all afternoon like this as president of the United States. This is what they want to sell you. But that's, of course, the kind of people, as far as Newsmax is concerned, that would have on someone like Jason Miller, who tried to poison a woman to kill the fetus inside her.
Expert. If he's not ready to go on the national stage now, after having done this for 50 years, he's not going to get any better as we move forward.
Yeah, I think he said he had 120 days in office. Give him some time. As you point out, though, he's had a long political career. I want to talk to you something about the former president, though. You tweeted a little less than an hour ago about this new platform coming in regards to...
That's frightening. Trump's got an
Donald Trump.
OnlyFans.
What can you tell us about this, Jason? Let's make some news.
Well, here's what I can tell you. Last week, we announced that I'm going to be stepping aside from my day-to-day spokesman role with President Trump, and I'm going to be joining a tech startup firm as the CEO, where we're going to have a new social media platform that's going to be coming this summer. With who's
Fwank.
going to be big, it's going to be faster, better features. It's going to completely knock folks.
Paul Wilgus says, it wasn't Trump that pulled us from the Iran deal that was keeping a check on their nuclear weapons? Yes, precisely.
Socks off. It's going to be impressive. Now, this is a separate effort that I'm doing from President Trump. Obviously, would love to get President Trump to the...
Wait, what? Hold on. This is what?
Now, this is a separate effort that I'm doing from President Trump. Obviously, would love to get President Trump to the platform, but I'm not going to speak on what President Trump's plans are at the moment with regard to social media.
Oh, so this is not a sidestep into running another thing for Trump. He's just getting out of there.
Yeah, I don't want to go and put words in his
mouth. So you were fired, is what you're saying. Or you left.
But for any conservative who's been worried about the big tech censorship, who's been wondering why they've been losing followers, wondering why people are getting kicked off of Twitter and Facebook simply for stating basic...
I'm wondering where Trump's wife went.
Wondering why people are getting kicked off.
This is... Have they been photographed together lately in the last 2 months? Seriously. How do I not have high blood pressure from listening to this garbage? Because I have a good sense of humor about it, and I know that this will not harm me in any way. I do not get wound up in assholes like this. They do not in any way, and I mean this genuinely, have any effect on my my psychological worth. That's the one thing that I might... if I have a superpower, that's it. I don't give myself away to people like Jason Miller, and I never will. So I can watch this stuff and go through it and maintain my sense of humor about it. And as long as, especially, like, the most I think I ever got kind of like wound up was when Trump was in power and he actually had the ability to carry out the bullshit he was talking about, which was the concern point. Now he's just a joke. Like, this is, he's a massive joke, and this guy just got fired working for a massive joke to go work on a new tech platform that's going to compete with the big dogs. Get the fuck out of here.
Of Twitter and Facebook simply for stating basic facts, whether it be election fraud or COVID, things have now come to light. Help is on the way.
Yeah, help is on the way. His new tech firm. Yeah, you can definitely go on there. It's just like fwankspeech.com. Go to fwank.com and sign up, FWANQ.com, and subscribe to the show. That he's going to, yes, Jason Miller, the guy whose great idea was, how do I get myself out of this tough situation where I've gotten a stripper pregnant? I know, I'll drug her and kill the fetus in her womb against her will. And by the way, that guy was the spokesperson for that guy, who the QAnon folks and the right-wingers believe is God's own messenger on earth and is the only true pro-life candidate to run in ever.
The way a new, bigger, and better platform is coming, and we're going to make some news pretty shortly here.
So,
yeah, no, you're not. I'm sorry, like he's making Rumble 2.
Again, this is not directly linked to Donald Trump and his.
It's not even indirectly. Did you not listen to him? I heard what he said. It's not indirectly linked to Donald. It's not linked at all. The only links to Trump are on the golf course, and even then he cheats.
Own tech plans. This is something separate.
Correct. President Trump, this is something that there could potentially be something
could potentially be something, but we'll see after Mike Lindell's rally and petition.
He ends up joining us with, but I want to let President Trump go and announce his own plans on social media. Those might be something that line up with us. There might be something different, but I'm going to let him do that.
They're not going to. Like this, I mean, he's just looking at the Parler money. And they're going, hey, I could, Bongino ran off and made all this fucking money, and now we want a slice. And by the way, this is, and they're all just straight up red state social media. That's just like Parler. They're just circle jerks of right wing speech. Twitter, for all its alleged left wing tilt, has a shit ton of right-wingers on there. Ben Shapiro still has his channel. Candace Owens, most of their supporters, they've got hundreds of thousands of followers. But Parler is red only. And this asshole is just making another red only site where people will have, they'll be on both, neither, or each. It's a joke.
In his terms, so as not to step on his thunder at all. But I can tell you that there will be
don't step on his thunder. It makes a horrible noise.
A very beautiful social media platform coming soon that conservatives and anyone worried about big tech and censorship is going to be happy with.
It sounds
so only conservatives is what you're talking about.
like you'd give him an account if he wanted one, Donald Trump?
No, definitely not. I mean, he'd have to pay for it like everybody else. It's a service fee.
Oh, I think that's safe to say. I think it's safe to say that real Donald Trump will be set aside for the 45th president.
Why would he need real Donald Trump if it's set aside for him? Wouldn't Donald Trump be? Why would you have to do @real? It's your own fucking network. What?
And waiting for him to jump on.
All right, Jason Miller joining us live. Jason, thank you.
I learned so much. By the way, just as a prediction, Jason Miller's social media site or whatever that he's working on will take a giant shit and go away. I mean, they might license YouTube or try to get they will not rise to the impact of BitChute. That's my prediction. It's just a way of scamming investors, right?